ConsistADS, Converting ADABAS Natural Applications and Data, Overview Part 2, Translating Natural Programs into ADS Format. ADS has two methods for translating natural programs into the ADS binary format that can be executed. The two translation methods are command line mode, also called batch mode, that can translate many natural programs at the same time, and IDE mode, that stands for Integrated Development Environment, that is used to visually edit, translate, and run one natural program at a time. We will first describe the ADS command line mode for translating natural programs, which can be used to translate many natural programs at the same time. Commands are entered on the command line in Windows or Linux Unix to invoke the ADS modules to translate the natural programs. The first step is to create a directory for an application. This directory is called a library and has up to 5 subdirectories, also called subfolders. There's the src directory for natural source files, the ASM directory for assembly source files, the bin directory for binary output with translation of the source, the bst directory for binary output that includes static charts, and the lst directory for listings that describe the translations. Now that the up to 5 subdirectories have been created, the next step is to put the natural source in the src subdirectory. These source files can include natural programs, maps, which are screen layout definitions, DDMs, that are data definition modules, data areas such as parameter, global, and local data areas, copy code, subprograms and subroutines, and text and message text files. Now you can enter a command on the command line in Windows or Linux Unix to translate all of the source. Examples of these commands are convert, that converts the source for one program, and convol, that converts the source for the whole application. After the convert or convol command is executed, ADS puts into the bin and bst subdirectories the binary output in the ADS executable format, and puts into the lst subdirectory listings that describe what translations were done. A deploy command can then be used to transmit via FTP the binary output to a target machine where the programs can run. The target files are given the same names as the original library and subdirectories. For example, if the target machine is ZOS, the output will go into a PDS, a partition data set, with the same name as the application library, and the members of the PDS will have the same names as the contents of the original subfolders. This diagram describes and summarizes the command line mode for translating and deploying natural programs. Commands such as convert and convol translate source files into bin and bst format and produce listings that describe the results. Then these files are deployed to libraries on the target machine where they can be executed. We will now describe the IDE, which stands for Integrated Development Environment Mode, for translating natural programs. The ADS IDE is a visual way of editing, translating, running, and deploying one natural program at a time. After starting the ADS Java application environment, point a web browser to the following URL: localhost at port 8080 ADS/IDE. If the Java application server is running on a machine other than your PC, specify the IP address of the machine it is running on, instead of the word localhost, such as this URL. When your web browser is pointing to this URL, you see a logon screen, and by default you can log on with any user ID and password. The user ID and password can be changed by modifying a file in the Java application server directory, such as Tomcat, as described in the ADS IDE installation manual. After entering a user ID and password, the ADS IDE main screen appears. On the left is a list of libraries containing natural programs. These libraries contain the natural programs and subfiles that you are translating. You can create a new source library by clicking on the word library at the upper left of the screen and then populating it with programs you want to translate. You can expand the contents of any library by pressing the plus sign at the left of the library name, and then this shows the library's subfolders. This screen shows a natural source library with the following subfolders, each with its own natural related components: globals, locals, parameters, DDMs, programs, subprograms, help routines, copy codes, maps, texts, and messages. If you click on any of these subfolders, you can see the contents of the subfolder. Then if you click on an individual entry, such as a natural program or map, it appears for editing on the right side of the screen. For example, here we clicked on Samples, Programs, and then the program BID 079, and then the program appears on the right side of the screen. You can edit, translate, and run the natural programs that are in the libraries. These actions are done by clicking on the small icons on the top line of the screen, each icon representing a different task you can perform. Here are the ADS IDE menu icons on the left side of the screen. Library is used to add a source library to work with. Source is used to add new source components to a library. Save is used to save the changes you've made. Save As is used to save the change specifying a new name. Compile is used to compile a natural program. Run is used to run a natural program. Now let's look at the ADS IDE menu icons on the right side of the screen. Dynamic pull-down menu is used to choose between dynamic and static version of the program. Deploy is used to deploy the program. Edit DDM is used to change the DDM. Edit DDM mapping is used to change the DDM mapping. Edit map is used to change the map. Font size is a pull-down menu that is used to adjust the font size of the edit window. Search is used to search the libraries for a particular value. Undo is used to undo changes. Redo is used to redo changes. Highlight is used to highlight indicated contents. About is used to display a list of the editing shortcuts. Logoff is used to log off this session of the ADS IDE. By choosing a natural component in the left column of the screen and then clicking on the various icons, you can edit, translate, run, and deploy the natural programs. We will now describe how to convert ADABAS data into relational database format that the ADS translated programs will use.